this is our simulator. We can't do it on an iPad, so we're doing it on our computers. And this is a simulator that we use to do our work. So this is the screen that you'll first see with C notes. And what you have to do for every patient is type in the patient name. So we'll just put, I don't know, we'll put Bob Rowe. I don't know who Bob Rowe is, but initials of the person writing the note. And we're going to reason or chief complaint. So you can see how immediately we make you type in the chief complaint or the reason for visit. Insurance companies want to see this. It's really important that it's in every note. Even if it's for a cleaning, it's the reason for the visit. If they have a chief complaint, then you talk about it. So today we're going to do something really interesting because, you know, I'm going to go across different departments, but we're going to do an extraction. So I'm going to type extraction, and we're going to do tooth number 8. We're going to do a bone graft, okay, and we're going to place an implant. Excuse me while I hunt and peck. So we're going to place an implant. So when we hit return, you'll see the departments of dentistry, and we're going to move those around. And to show them to you real quick, examinations, operative dentistry, endo, prosto, ortho, hygiene, pedo, facial aesthetics like Botox and fillers. We have TMJ, TMD, oral surgery, implant, and perio. So let's go ahead to oral surgery because that's where first thing we're going to do. We said we were going to take out a tooth. So number 8 is going to come out. So let's go to oral surgery, and you see a treatment selection screen gets open, and we're going to go to tooth removal. So you have emergency situations, you have endodontic surgery, orthodontic surgery, prosthodontic surgery, oral pathology, periodontal surgery, and bone grafting. So let's go to tooth removal. Press 8 and hit done. Now, another thing that we can do that's interesting is we're going to be doing a bone graft also. So I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to press bone grafting. And you can press 8 if you want and hit done. And one last thing is we're going to do, now I'm going into a different department. I'm going to press implant, and we're going to put implant placement, 8, and done. So now you see I went through 2 departments. I went to oral surgery and I went to implant placement. And so we're going to start out with tooth removal. It's the first thing we did. So let's go to tooth removal, and you can see a pre-op screen. So we're going to click on pre-op. And we're not going to mark the conditions. Let's say they're previously done. This is what we're doing today. It wasn't an emergency. It's already been planned. We're not going to go into conditions. Let's take the vitals since we'll be doing something like this. So we're going to say it's Bob's in good shape, 120/80. And it's a little anxious today. We'll put in a heart rate of 65. We're going to commit the vitals. You see the little toast that pops up there, and you can see that it's a confirmation that your note is being written. So let's go to review med history. In review med history, we have no changes. You can go by department, but we're going to say no changes, and we're going to record that, yes, there were no changes in the medical history. Very important that you do that for almost every appointment. Bob's going to be pre-medicated with some antibiotics. We gave him some amoxicillin, and we're going to give him oral sedation, just some Ativan. So he's pre-medicated. Any pre-op records, we didn't take any pre-op records, we already have those. Pre-surgical management, okay? We told them about plaque control techniques. We're talking about atraumatic brushing technique. We have anatomic concerns addressed. Any systemic concerns were addressed. Chlorhexidine rinse, surgical template list, no frenectomy. We're going to have given him antibiotics and analgesics already. So just a pre-surgical list, and you can see how it's running. Let's give him some anesthesia. You can record no anesthesia if you choose to, but we're going to press on topical, benzocaine, and you don't have to do a quantity because you're just going to apply it to a cotton swab, and we're going to hit save. Next thing we're going to do is do local infiltration, and let's do, say, lidocaine, 1 carpule. Let's say 1 1/4 carpules, and hit save. You see how it writes. Then we're going to do local infiltration also, but we're also going to, let's change, we're going to say septicaine, and we're going to use 1/2 carpule, local infiltration. So there we go. So now we're going to click off of this. You'll see it goes away. And next down here, supplemental information on treatment, preliminary impression. No, so we're going to close that out. Now, patient consultation, informed consent, we're going to go through in just a little while. But let's talk about, we're going to do we have traditional extraction, atraumatic, or impaction. So we're going to do atraumatic because it's an anterior tooth. So let's, we'll go here, and when you see this little icon, this little molar icon, that's going to tell you to pop this screen where we just hit teeth, where it says next to close, it says teeth, and you can see what we affectionately call the grill. So the grill gets popped, and we're going to put tooth 8. This is telling the note that you're selecting a tooth. It's going to write a note about tooth number 8, and it'll mention it. So that's the tooth that we select for removal, first of all. And let's say, did we raise a flap? Yeah, let's raise a flap with a scalpel. And did we do a tooth sectioning? No. We do a periodontal attachment steroid? Yes. Did we detach the ligament? Yes. We did a purchase creation, and then we elevated, and we used some apical retention forceps. So we're going to press save and save all that information. And we're not going to do a soft tissue flap closure. I mean, you could if you want to at this time, but we have other things to do. So if we're just doing extraction, you want to do that. If you had complications to an extraction, you can look at that. So let's close out, because we're not going to go there because we have more things to talk about. So there we go. If we went to go finish, you can see where finish is, make sure everything's okay. But we're not going to do that just yet. And follow-up appointment, that's for another appointment. That's for another note that we're going to write. So the next thing we're going to do is place a bone graft. So we went through pre-op already. You can see it's identical. So we're going to close that. Patient consultation, we're not going to look at. Socket preservation, which is what we're doing. So we're going to say we're going to add a socket preservation. Now, one of the things that I like to do, I learned from RM Garg, when it comes to implant placement, we're going to measure the root length. And we're going to say it's, let's say 11 millimeters. So we'll save that. What kind of defect did we have? Well, we had a 3-wall defect, and we'll save that. And now we go up, and did we deride the socket? Yes. There's more than one place to do that, to write that, and you can write it multiple times if you want. So, did we raise a soft tissue flap? Yeah, let's say we raised one to place the implant in the graft, and we use an envelope. We can save that. You'll see it pops it, the toast. The incision was, let's say, a crestal, palatal crestal, and we did a papillary sparing technique. And we might have even done a relieving incision. So we'll do that. And the dissection, it's a full thickness dissection. Did we use a membrane? We're going to say no. Bone graft materials, let's go to bone graft materials. We use allograft. We're going to use the FDBA, and we're going to reconstitute it. And let's say we just reconstitute it with saline, but we have methyl cellulose if you want, or lidocaine. PRP if you want to use it, or if you are using it. So the graft material. So did we place the membrane over it? No. Do we fixate the membrane? No. So we close out. Okay. The graft information. So let's say we write in, I don't know, we could write in, excuse me one moment. There we go. Let's write in, I don't know, let's write in Zimmer. Zimmer graft material. Lot number, QEDG, and we're going to write an expiration date. Now, what's so interesting about this is that it's very important that you write this down, because it could be a recall, could be actually what's happening in the future, like as soon as next year. I have learned from certain companies that you're going to have to write these things down and report them to, once again, the powers that be, you know, in DC. So anyway, flap reposition. No, we're not going to do that just yet. Are we going to close it? No. Surgery complications. No, we're not going to go that. So let's close out. Let's go to our implant placement now. Pre-op is identical, so you can skip that. So you've seen how we write this. Implant selection. Well, let's do some measurements. What's our depth? Let's say we're going to say it's going to be 13 millimeters. And what is our width? 13 millimeters. I'm sorry. Let's use let's say 4.5. And So we hit save, and let's go to implant guide. So we're going to hit 8. What implant system we're using? Let's use Megagen. I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there. Any ridge and platform diameter. Let's say it's 4.5. I don't even know if that's the proper ones. The length, let's say it's 13. A lot number could be something. And our expiration. Sorry, I did that backwards. And reference number if you have one. So these are the things you want to record, and they're on the package, so it's really important to do that. Now this becomes important because this will become a part of your note. So you can see how beautiful it is. So let's go ahead and close that out. So surgical guide selection. Do we do CAM guide? Do we get a lab fabricated guide? Let's do an IT jig. And let's say it's, you know, either you can do partially, completely, or non-limiting. So we're going to go ahead and press that. Now let's close this out because we finished there. Notice how C-Notes reads left to right and up to down. It kind of tells you what to do. So let's, we talked about, we did a envelope. We already recorded that. Incisions, we already recorded that. Let's go to the dissection. We already recorded that. Let's go to the bone grafting materials. We already said that if we're going to bone graft. So implant insertion. Let's go ahead and do that. Surgical guide. So we place the guide. Notice how when I'm in this screen where it says surgical guide, that's an activity screen, and we're going to save often is what I normally do. So once I go through a button on the left, once I complete the treatment selections, or the activity selections rather, I will then take and save. So let's say we used a manual torque driver and a surgical driver, and hit save. Location, the final location of the implant we're going to say is level with the buccal bone. Our final tightening was to 45, so you can go up to 70 if you can crank it that hard. You want to record that you confirmed with an x-ray, the placement of it, and if you place sleeper implants, you can even actually show where. So let's close that out. We're finished with that, and let's go to finish, and it's a 2-stage. We can place a healing screw. We can also do a delayed function, or you can do immediate load. But we're going to do that, and we're going to replace the flap. So replacement, let's do a tension-free verification. We smooth the edges. We didn't deepithelialize the host papilla. Let's say we coronally reposition, since we had those releasing incisions. And if you want, you can even put Decadron. So there we go. And soft tissue closure, let's put sutures. We'll write Ethicon maybe. And I'm just going to write something like Vicryl. I don't even know if they're from the same company. Lot number, and then expiration date. Notice how these expiration dates are so important. Got to have them. And so now we're finished there. If there were surgical complications, you can record them, but at this time, no. So now we're going to go to, we've finished our tooth removal, we've finished our bone grafting, we've finished our implant placement. Let's go to conclusion. So conclusion, notice it is here in the upper right corner. And there's also something very nice, this little icon next to it, the triangle with the exclamation point in there. Let me close this real quick because I'm going to talk to you about that just for a moment. This is the broken appointment or unexpected incidences button. If the patient didn't show up, you can write a note, simply go through all the things, you go straight to this note, to this triangle, and hit broken appointment, and you can do that. Then you can write what unexpected incidents happen. So if there's any kind of unexpected incidents, that's something out of the ordinary that you should record, you can write it here. In fact, we have a video on it on our YouTube channel. So you can see how things look. If we go to conclusion now, post-op instructions, let's say we gave post-op instructions for oral surgery, and we did verbal and written on bone grafting, extractions, and implant placement. And what about adjunctive? Well, we also did verbal and written for local anesthesia and for oral sedation. So we go ahead and press that. Any meds we want to give, or if you already gave them, you can already give them, but we have topicals, antibiotics, antimicrobials, and narcotics, but according to our list, our pre-check list, we already gave that to them. So next appointment will be for, we'll say oral surgery, or if you wanted to say, you can also go to implant, and we'll just say implant assessment, 8, notice, or follow-up. Follow-up here in 1 week. And we save. You can see next appointment, 8, post-op follow-up in 1 week. So we close that out. Now we're back to the finale. Let's review the note. Now look what you see down here at the bottom. I'm going to double click on it, actually single click, and there's that interactive PDF document that you can't get in a rich text format. We can create these things, and this becomes integral part of the note. And just to click off of it, and here's our note: extraction 8, bone graft, implant placement, just like what we said, what we typed in: tooth removal, atraumatic extraction, bone grafting, socket preservation, implant placement. I pressed on surgery complications, but we really didn't have any. If you wanted to edit that, it's real simple. We hit edit, the little edit button on the upper right hand corner next to print, and we can actually go here and simply eliminate that. And this is how you edit your note, and we can end editing. That's how you edit your note when it comes to your final note. You want to do any editing in here before you send it off. This little icon on the right side is is your email. This is what you do with I don't know if y'all can see that. Y'all can't see up above can you see the review note? You see that, Scott? You see that? Okay, good. Because I have a little green line running across my screen at the top telling me that I'm on screen sharing. So good, you can see it. And so this is what a typical note would look like. I'm going to scale. Notice we have tooth removal, pre-op, atraumatic extraction, then we have bone grafting, socket preservation, we have implant placement, implant selection, implant insertion, finish, we have flap replacement position, we have post-op instructions, and we have next appointment. Now that is a well-written note. Now I will tell you, once you learn to navigate C notes, and promise me this, that you learn one pathway of something that you love to do. It could be a filling, it could be a single crown, it could be placing an implant, just like what we did today. But if you learn one pathway tonight, I want you to promise me that you're going to do it over and over and over until you can write that note in 2 minutes. And when you can write that note in 2 minutes, you know that you have now mastered that pathway for C notes. And this is what you can see, that C notes is a very large application, and it takes a little bit more than just jumping into it, because you're going to make mistakes and things like that. But just remember, they read left to right, treatments, procedures, activities, and they also go up to down. Once you finish a screen, you close it out. If you're in that treatment screen, that's where it's primarily the half bottom of the application, you want to save often. So you can see what it looks like. Very nice, well-written note. And so that's how C notes looks.